Thank you. I'm Kansas State Representative Ford Carr. This is my district that you're in. Let me excuse my dress, first of all, but I hold an event every Sunday. I'm in my community. This is Sunday, and people are in church on Sundays. But the event that I hold on Sunday has the largest congregation of people of color in the state. That's in Riverside Park. It's taking place right now. I had to go over and set up before I came over here and just change my t-shirt so I wouldn't be sweating across the room. But everyone here is welcome to come over and experience some of the love that we share in Riverside Park. I'm not here to talk about things that I might do or things that I might attempt to do when I get in. I can tell you what I'm doing now. In fact, I bring receipts. Outside, you'll find my card. You can go to www.carforkansas.com and you can see the way I fight for the people in my community. Not only do I do the event in Riverside Park, but I do countless events in the neighborhood. You would be hard-pressed to look on the aisle that you are seated on right now and find someone who has not been in one of my events or certainly has a loved one who has taken advantage of one of the events that I put on in the city. In addition to that, the work that I do in the Kansas State House, again, I come with receipts. www.carforkansas.com. I've heard people say that times are different now. We need fighters. They're absolutely right. We do need fighters. There may have been a time when being quiet and just simply sitting at the table was fantastic, but that's not today. Not only do we need to sit at the table, but we need to make sure that they're giving us a full plate and that we can eat from. Again, I'm Kansas State Representative Ford Carr. I appreciate your time and everyone being here.
And that's it.
Thank you. Marijuana legalization. There were 3 bills introduced last session to legalize marijuana. 2 of them were introduced by me. The legalization of marijuana goes beyond just the benefit that might come from recreational or medicinal. What we have to focus on is what happens to the money. So in those bills had specific carve-outs for the money. And we wanted to make certain that when it came to participating in the sale, distribution, and cultivation of marijuana, that was fair as well. So in my bills, those bills had special carve-outs so that people that look like us, the majority of us in this room, wouldn't be left out of the money-making benefit of the marijuana legalization process. Thank you. It's not nearly as simple as people think. And one of the major problems is that what we do at the state level is immediately affected at the local level. So if we make a change to give property tax relief, then that change is immediately wiped away by what they do at the state level. So what we have to do is change the way we are tallying our property tax. And if I will go out on a limb to say that my colleague Henry Helverson is one of the best people with respect to property taxes that we have in the state. We can give you what appears to be a huge tax break because we'll set the mill levy, but then the state will come around, the city will come around, the local levels will come and change your tax evaluation, which then wipes it right out.
And that's your time, sir.
Representative Mr. Carr.
Thank you. Ford Carr, 84th District. There are 165 people in the State House. It takes a majority to pass anything. Sometimes, myself and Representative Helgerson's answers may be slightly different because we're actually involved in what's taking place, and we're not talking about dreams and hopes, we're talking about realities. The reality is, what we can do is inform our constituents as to what's taking place, and we can, I'm sorry, we're in the church and I can't use that language, but we can fight. We can fight to keep those horrible things from happening to our communities. When there are 165 people and we have when the other side has a supermajority, what we have to do is we have to get people like you in rooms like this to run for seats that aren't occupied by Democrats and win those seats so that we can defeat the supermajority and actually make things happen. That's what we have to do. That's the answer to most of all the questions here. That's your time. Thank you. Kansas State Representative Ford Carr. I met Gail Finney 30 years ago. We never had a conversation about politics. I met her because she came in service to some service that I was giving. And throughout the years, as I was providing service, she would come and help. And one day, she asked me if I'd be interested in filling her shoes. I had no desire to be in politics. But I stood up. Gail saw something in me that possibly I didn't see in myself. And I'm going to believe that that's the fighter that I have in me. You know, every item that was mentioned here today, the sense of urgency, the fighting, the what are we going to do with the money, all of those things, the transparency, all of those things were new to me. But you can see what I do. I don't have to talk about what might happen in the future. You know, my work is evident. You can see it in the community. And if you haven't seen me on the floor fighting for you, again, I'm going to direct you to my website. Because I will stand here and proudly say that you will not see another legislator in this state that fights the way I do in the House. The senator, I can't tell you what she does in the Senate. I've never seen it. I know she fights, but in the State House, there is not a single individual that fights like me for us. And I can say that proudly. Once again, I'm Kansas State Representative Ford Carr, and put me back in with a single vote.
Good evening, loved ones. My name is Eric Murray. As I look around this room, I know many of you, I want to talk to you about the importance of showing up. First off, thank you to St. Paul AME Church for hosting this space for us. Thank you to all of the community organizations that have come together. As I look around this room, this is the unity that we need to drive change in this country. In that spirit of showing up, many of you know me already. This is my 15th event here in Wichita. I'm born and raised in Wyandotte County, and I got folks in the dot saying, Eric, you love Sedgwick more than us because you're in Wichita. And I see parallels between our two communities. And even that comment there comes from a scarcity mindset because our communities have been disinvested for so long. And so I am here, loved ones. I've never run for elected office before, but I am so frustrated at the disinvestment in our communities, and both parties have something to do with that. And so I am not running for political parties. I am not running for special interests. I am the #1 fundraiser in this race, and traditional media won't tell you that because they don't love telling great stories about kids from Wyandotte County and kids from Sedgwick County. But I love seeing Jalen Britton right there because this is the energy that we are bringing to a new brand of politics. And so the reality is we need leaders that work for us in our communities. We need leaders that show up. I apologize that I was late today because I have been showing up everywhere in the state. I've been in 70 of the 105 counties. And as I talk about the disinvestment in Wyandotte and Sedgwick counties, as I go around this state, in most of the 105 counties, rural areas feel that too. People are surprised when a kid from the dot shows up and talks about your hospital closing, talks about your farm struggling, talks about farmer suicides. So don't believe the hype. We can win this election everywhere. I remind folks that Donald Trump has a 30% approval rating. Joe Biden has a 30% approval rating. Loved ones, Barack Obama has a 57% approval rating. So when people tell you that a young black man from Wyandotte County cannot win this race, I have the audacity to go to the United States Senate and work for us. I went to the #1 public high school in this state named after Charles Sumner, a United States Senator that was nearly beaten to death on the floor of the United States Senate for opposing slavery. That's the energy we need in the Senate. That's what I'm bringing. Thank you, loved ones.